in the heart of our sun, forged in the crucible of the cosmos, in a realm of might, magic, and high adventure reign supreme. Let me tell the tale of a rider who is being hunted down. Her cargo is the key to her freedom and to her damnation. She blazes a trail across a forest and lands that holds the news of pursuers in the crystal labyrinth as the dragon pass. The ripple of this moment cascades into a chain of events that will wreck the lives of all in the realm, especially a teenage boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. I'm Ryan Cardinal, the Ryan Cardinal, a.k.a. the Creative Native, and today I bring to you a man, a myth, a legend. If you want action, adventure, look no farther than the man Kimosabi, Lee, Byron, Carver!
G'day, everyone. I'm the man called Kimosabi, the man with the plan from the land down under, and thanks for having me on your show, Ryan.
No problem, man. Thanks for showing up. I'm glad to have you here and promote the one, the only, the awesome Company Man.
Yeah, it's just taken off, man. The amount of positive feedback I've gotten on this thing, absolutely fantastic, vindicating, makes it all worthwhile. I mean, I've been working on this for over a year now, sort of February to February, and it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the COVID, if it wasn't for all that sort of stuff going on, giving me a bit of time.
That COVID crunch is
done. Yeah, it's a real thing.
Out everybody, yeah.
Yeah. So we're at 104% funding now, so the book's fully funded. That covers all of the publishing and distribution costs. So anything above this is just going to be able to push forward into the next project and make that happen even faster. This one took a year to happen, but I know that we can do it in a lot shorter time than this because on this pencils and inks 100% done. This is good to go.
Yeah, it's always the learning curve with the first one. You know, you got to test the water, see what's going on, see what's working, get your team on point, and then from there, it just steamrolls into more and more efficiency.
That's why we'll keep that momentum going. Kelso Mazzine, the artist on this, he's already working on pages for book 2. I'm getting pages from book 2 come through my email now, and this hasn't even finished funding and being distributed. So we're ahead of the game now. But we were hit with a bunch of stuff. The colorist got COVID. I got my identity stolen by Chinese hackers, and I had to completely get new birth certificate. Threw me back 3 months. This book would have been done 3 months ago.
That's brutal, man.
In Australia, they've got this website called MyGov, my government website, and everything you want to do, you've got to do it through MyGov. So when your kids have immunization needles, you've got to go through MyGov. If you're out of work and getting employment checks, you've got to go through MyGov. Whatever it is, So everybody in the country has to use it. You can't function without it. It's like the way China does the social credit score and stuff over there. You know, like this is not mandatory. It's mandatory. And they hacked it and they stole I think 300,000 people's identities, birth certificates, passports, everything. So
fully compromised on all levels.
Man. Wow. I had stuff from new bank accounts, everything, transfer money into temp bank accounts, get new ones set up. And it threw me back a while. And then I said to Kelso, look, I can't pay you because I've got no bank accounts. He said, well, I got to eat. He's over in Brazil there. Mm-hmm. So he had to do some other work in between, other freelance work, and it just set us right back. And that's the sort of thing you can't plan for. There's no way I could know that the Chinese hackers were going to come along and steal my identity and knock us back 3 months. It's insane.
Kidding. Wow, that in itself could be like tossed into the story at some point, you know? Like,
no doubt.
Wow, that's brutal. Yeah, being here in Canada, we also have very similar things. We haven't been hacked yet, but we know it's around the corner.
It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen to everybody. Yeah. Everyone has like this centralized thing when it comes to information like that. And they're just chipping away at that security, man.
Yeah. And you can't keep ahead of it. And someone's going to do it just to say they did.
Yeah.
You know, let alone somebody malicious like a foreign government wanting to steal all your information for whatever nefarious purposes.
Yeah. You can only hope that it's a white hat that does it for, just the lulls and shows hey.
Yeah. Here's the back door.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingers crossed. Good luck.
I just want to say hi to the chat, everyone out there. We got Jason Black rolling in there. We got, let's scroll up here. We got Mighty Mo Biggs,
Darren Wagner, and Amanda B's in there. Hey, everybody, thanks for popping by. Just scrolling down here, scrolling down. Yeah, man, thanks for everybody for popping by, shooting out the links. Want to get as many eyes on this as possible while it's still going live. We got, 55 days left. It may seem like a lot of time, but it is not. It slips by very, very quick. Anybody who's done one of these campaigns knows that it seems like a lot of time, but the next thing you know, the end is knocking right away. We got Comics with Kellaway there. Thank you very much for popping in. I Burrow Ideas. Awesome. Yeah, we've got some people in the chat there. Excellent. So let's go into the company, man. Like, what's well, before we go into that, let's go into a little bit of your origin story. Like, where do you come from? What's going on? Your tale of the tape, so it were.
Yeah. So obviously I'm Australian, if you can't tell, and which as anybody knows, part of my branding, I do the whole Aussie thing. Funny thing, I was going to push into that whole real Crocodile Dundee, g'day mate, welcome to Australia sort of thing, like really, really ham it up, because we don't quite sound like that Simpsons episode that we're all so infamous for. But then Kellaway comes along, Kellaway's in the chat, and he's the most Australian guy I know. He's so Aussie, man. He's so Aussie, his toilet seat leaves itself up. Like he's just the most ocker bloke I've ever met. And I'm trying to get him more streams. You just got to listen to this guy talk. He's 100% pure Australian. It's a beautiful thing to hear. And over here in Australia, it can be, especially, I'm turning 40 this year, especially 30, 40 years ago, it is hard to get your hands on comics, on traditional comics. We tend to just get a lot of Phantom comics. I love the Phantom, and a lot of reprints like Justice League and Batman and stuff reprinted in black and white, and then you get them from the secondhand bookstore for 50 cents with the cover ripped off sort of thing. So I was reading all those classic Silver Age stories. So that's what I like. I like the big pageantry of the Silver Age. Around the time that John Byrne was doing Man of Steel, I was still reading stuff from 10, 15, 20 years earlier. So that sort of stuff really got stuck in my mind. I always wanted to be a comic book artist, and I can draw. But some people want to argue this, and some people don't want to hear it.
That's not what I heard. That's not what I've seen. I think you can draw. I think I've seen you draw. Yeah, you got skills, man. You can't BS it.
Yeah, that's like I say, is like some people don't want to hear it, but talent will only get practice will only get you so far. There's a big part of it, a big component that's natural talent. Like my dad's a really good artist, my granny's a really good artist, so it's genetically passed down to me. I was good up to a point, I plateaued, and I didn't have the skill, tenacity, or direction to move past that plateau. So I've sort of I looked at some stuff I did recently and stuff I did 5 years ago, and it's basically the same. I haven't grown at all, but I haven't put time into it. I put time into writing instead. Once I realized I was a better writer than an artist, and I enjoy writing more than I enjoy drawing, that's where I focus my energies on. Mm-hmm. So I've been studying story structures. I've been reading. I've always been an avid reader of comic books and prose and novels and stuff like that. So it's all the stuff I've done in my life has come together towards this one point, to be able to sell this book, to be able to make this thing, this IP, and distribute it to people and get them to get eyes on it. It was sort of early 2011, 2012. I've been watching a bunch of stuff set in the Middle East. Strike Back, A Body of Lies with Leonardo DiCaprio and Russell Crowe. What's that other one? Homeland, a Homeland show where the dude comes back from overseas and he's been converted to Islam and stuff. So I've been reading a lot of that sort of stuff, and there's sort of a bleak flexibility to that world. It's very, very bleak. It's very washed out. It's all desert and sand and white rock and puce. And there's something really overwhelming and fierce and huge about that place. And I thought it'd be really cool just to drop a bunch of superheroes in there, a bunch of dudes in colored spandex, and have them deal with the shades of gray and the flexible morality of those sort of regions, because it's not black and white. You just can't just come in your BDUs and everything and be like, oh, we're the good guys, you're the bad guys. Yeah. There's levels. There's villages harboring people because they need that protection, or they need the money that brings them, or they're afraid of the consequences if they don't.
Or their family and stuff like that. So
exactly. And people get pulled in. You see these guys pull up in trucks and just grab these kids, chuck them with trucks, take off, said, right, you've joined this faction now. Here's an AK, go shoot those guys because they look different to you, and vice versa. So there's so much that you can play with there. And I didn't want to base any one particular nation, so I created a bunch of what you call imaginations. Mm-hmm. And Marvel and DC have been doing that for years and years. Yeah. And it was Christmas time, and we're on the coast camping, and it was just raining nonstop. I was stuck underneath this bit of tarp and I had a soggy notepad and a biro, and I thought, I've got nothing else I can do. I'm just going to start writing this story that's been beating around inside my head. Anybody who's a serious, legit writer, anybody who writes knows that you can't not write, and the ideas don't stop coming. And if you don't exercise them,
they're going
to until your head's going like that, and you've got to get it out. You've got to get it on the page. For me, even if it's just jotting down the idea as a blurb, I do like a little elevator pitch to myself to say, hey, Kimo, come back and write this sensation, come back and write this story that you had this idea for.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so I had plenty of time, and I just sat there and I started writing, and it's probably the purest writing experience I've ever had in terms of the characters and the events just coming into my head and coming onto the page. I didn't have any writer's block. I didn't have, and writer's block, I'll maintain that writer's block is not planning well enough. If you sit down, you've got writer's block. It's different than not being motivated. Not being motivated to write is not writer's block.
I was going to say, there's also the aspect of having writer's block is where you write yourself into a corner that you didn't know that you needed to be there on purpose. Because you created yourself into a problem that you're like, oh, I gotta magic my way out of this. I gotta wizard my way out of this. How do I do this? Yeah.
Well, and again, that comes back from not necessarily a lack of planning, but maybe not adhering to your planning. It depends on where you are on the spectrum from pantser to plotter. I love pantsing. I love just jumping in with a spark of an idea and writing, but I can never get to the end that way. That's when I get what people call writer's block. I have to pull back, I have to plan, I have to work my way through it. Chuck the kids in a pram, go for a walk around the block a couple of times till it all rattles loose, and I work out what I need to do. I'm finding I'm getting so much more success now just being a pure plotter, plotting it all out and sticking to what I need to do. But when I was writing, I never had any sort of hold up. Every time I got to a point where I didn't know what happened next, I just gave them another clue and they went to another location, and there's plenty of red herrings and plenty of dead ends that they have to circle back and keep going. And it just created this huge, complex, layered conspiracy that they were trying to get to the bottom of, not just to stop a war from happening, not just to stop a terrorist attack, which is going to initiate a war, but to clear their own names as well and keep themselves alive. I mean, they stopped fighting for the country and start fighting for their own lives halfway through the book.
So it definitely sounds like the company may get thrown into the shit.
Oh yeah. It's
they're usually in the shit, but they get thrown into
they usually cause it or solve it, and now they're in it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a shock for them. You know, they spend all this time being top dogs in the region, and they got the power, and people are scared of them. There's a scene early on when they had information, and they walk into a hookah bar, Hookah bar.
Oh, okay, hookah bar. Yeah.
And they start pushing people around, and I hope people get it. I hope people. They go in there, and I hope I don't get channel struck. I'll try and censor myself. And they say, get over there, goat effer, and get over there, you rag-headed mother effer, and you're saying this and this, that. And then they're pushing these people around. They're saying all these slurs, and they grab the guy who runs the bar, and they're shaking him. Oh, we're going to get information out of you, and you're the biggest contributor to the local terrorist cell, and you cause all these problems, and you think you're a big man. We're here to get money. We're shaking you down. They push him into the back room, and they sit in the point guns. Sit down. There's not going to be any jihads in here today. Sit your ass down. And they go in the back, and they're all laughing, have a drink, and he goes, "Oh man, thanks for that show out there. You make me look so good in front of my friends. I think I'm the scariest dude. You give me props saying I'm contributing to this organization. They're saying I'm a big man. I've got all the money, but at the same time, this guy's trying to play them. So they go in there being what the people in that bar expect them to be. These awful CIA-run American, we're going to call you this, we're going to call you that. But it's all very tongue-in-cheek. When they get back, they're all drinking together and having a laugh. It's
funny because you're dealing with like two stereotypes simultaneously, one from the perspective of the people going in, and also they're portraying the persona of themselves of being that stereotype as they go through everybody.
Absolutely. And I'm just like, when you first read the book, you might come across some pages and go, I'm offended by that. I'm like, just read a little, just one more. It's the punchline. It's a limerick. There once was a man from Enos. Just wait. You're going to laugh when you get to the end of it. And you turn the next page and you see them all having a drink and laughing. But then the little dude, the guy who's running the bar, is now he then turns around on them. He says, "Oh, you want information from me? That's cool. I don't have time to tell you that information now because I've got a meeting with one of my guys is coming along here. Why don't you just sit down in the corner, have a drink on the house? This guy will come in and we'll do our business." And they're like, "Oh yeah, what you want is you want us to sit here and look like big heavies to scare this guy who comes in so that you can get your dealings done." And then the little guy, he escalates things to the point where the company man have got to step in physically and cause violence and fight this guy to get this guy what he wants. And then they finally get the information off him, and they're like, isn't that funny that this meeting that you're having is set up just as we rocked up? I don't suppose you heard about that from Azad Beled. And he said, "No, that guy just died yesterday, didn't he?" Knowing that the company man had already killed him. So this guy, he proves that he's ahead of these guys. He's got this information. He used them for his ends, but they still got the info they wanted, and they part ways. Not happy about it, but that's just the way it is. So there's shades of grey. There's levels. There's complex social interactions there that goes beyond just an action book. As much fun as it is, and the book ends on a 10+ page superhuman battle. You got the 5 company men. You got 5 metahumans that have been hired off the black market. If you've ever seen that, I think it's a Batman cartoon, Under the Red Hood, where Jason Todd, he's Red Hood and he's doing whatever he's doing, and then there's this group of cyborg dudes turn up and attack him out of nowhere. They've just been hired like just mercs to come and take him out, and then him and Batman take him down.
I don't think I've seen that. Is that Under the Red Hood, the animated one?
So. Yeah, the animated one.
I don't know if I've seen that one or not.
Yeah.
Crap.
I was just using that as like an example because it's similar to that. Like there's a company there trying to get this informant. It's all about informants. It's all about information. It's all about who knows what. Just as they're about to nab him, these 5 other metahumans turn up like, well, we're here to kill him. So he doesn't give you the information. We're like, we're here to nab him. So we get the information, 10 plus pages of superhero battle, just super speed battle of 2 speedsters weaving back and forth between each other, blowing stuff up. You got cyborgs getting their arms pulled off. You got Gates teleporting rebar through dudes' heads. You got Abbott beating people to death with chunks of concrete. It's bloody, it's violent, it's full on. That's how the story ends. That's the end of the first, because it's a 60-page book. And that's the first book out of 3 to make 180-page stories. If you think of all 180 pages as the first movie in a 4-movie series, which I've already got scripted, the first book of the first movie is the first act. And you go through the door of no return. You go through the new normal. The old normal was they didn't think this terrorist cell existed. They didn't think a terrorist attack was going to happen. At the end of the book, they go through that door and they realize the cell is real. If it wasn't real, who hired these guys to come and stop them? The
events are unfolding and there's nothing they can do about it. So, and
you can't go back. You have to move forward. And that causes agency, that causes action. And something I like about these guys, probably more than anything, is that they're competent. They're capable. I think we're all sick of seeing these incompetent, non-capable characters in media.
Or even worse, characters that used to be competent that are now completely incompetent. Somebody's come along and effectively neutered them or made them ineffective in their own stories, which is not entertaining anymore.
I call it the Hawkeye phenomenon. I don't think anybody's been hit harder than Hawkeye.
And just becoming like least effective because...
Sorry, what was that?
Just becoming least effective in the team and stuff like that, or...
Oh, in his own book, like he used to, Hawkeye.
In his own book, yeah. Yeah,
he used to be this happy-go-lucky, but then he had a real hot temper. He always used to get into fights with Captain America and Iron Man and call him Winghead and Shellhead. And he used to be really capable.
Yep.
And then Kate come along and she's better than him, and she's Hawkeye, but he's Hawkeye. And now he's this ineffectual doofus with no mask that falls off buildings and can't hit the broadside of a barn. It's really
literally trained by Captain America with the best, essentially super team on the planet, and now he's turned into a buffoon. Yeah, like they've Homer Simpson him pretty much.
Yes, yeah. Peter Griffined him. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's just absolutely incompetent, and it breaks my heart to see a character that I've been fond of for, like I said, I'm 40 and I've been reading comics as long as I can remember. But this is why we're doing what we're doing. That's why we're making our own, because there's nothing, Disney's not going to be able to make buffoons out of my characters or your characters or anybody else's listening.
And this is a big thing too that I've been noticing a lot is a lot of people that love these characters. One thing that's going on is the thing that made them unique. That made them special. That made them that actual thing that we wanted to go to. Because they're creatively broke, they're diluting those characters now. Spider-Man. There's how many Spider-Man now? Captain America, Super Soldier Serum, everyone has it now. It's the dilution. Who is it? Syndrome. When everyone's special, no one will be.
I saw somebody do exactly the same thing. There's a picture of all the Flashes, and Flash is a little bit different because he's always been a legacy character. There's always been the Museum of Flashes. There's always been Future Flashes and stuff like that. And you got from Jay Garrick and even Max Mercury back further than him, all the way through. But then you've got all these new ones turn up, and there must have been 24 of them on this page racing forward, and somebody posted, when everybody's Flash, nobody's Flash. It's exactly the same thing. You got the Spider-Man, you got the Batman family, you got all these, Signal and all these Batman characters, you got like 8 Robins, you got the Superman family now, you got John Kent come back, and you got future ones, and you got ones from Legion of Superheroes era and stuff like that, and even Todd McFarlane with Spawn. There's been many Spawns over the years, and now he's doing this universe of Spawn where he's going to be having all these books, I imagine, about all the different Spawns. It's all the same. So it's like, it's interesting a couple of times, like when you got Ghost Rider, you got original Ghost Rider, then you got like Cowboy Ghost Rider from the movie. That was kind of cool. That's a cool visual. Now you've got Indian Ghost Rider on a flaming elephant. Have you seen that one?
No.
he's literally like an Indian with the blades and everything, and he's on this big flaming elephant. It's like, oh well, he wanted vengeance. You're diluting to the point where it's not cool anymore. It's not interesting. I don't want to read about it anymore. So
and there's no incentive for anyone come in to be creative for these teams because there's no monetary gain for them whatsoever. The company now owns it, and that's it. You basically get nothing unless you're smart and you make your contract and just be like, no, I get a chunk of everything. And we all can see who's getting money because those are the characters that are being pushed,
Absolutely. Well, Bendis is the master of that. Somebody pointed out that he made Riri Williams, but at the same time, Rhodey's niece exists. So you got War Machine's niece. That would be the perfect person to do if you want to do a young woman of that ethnicity taking over Iron Man for a bit, bring Rhodey's niece into it, let her do it. But no, Bendis had to make his own character because he wanted to get paid. He wanted to pay.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. And Bendis, I guarantee, is smart enough to work all that stuff directly into his contract. Just remember, everybody out there, when it comes to contracts are the terms of negotiation. You don't have to agree to them. That is your time to be like, no, F you, pay me.
That's right. Get paid what you want.
Yeah, speaking of getting paid, man, you're up to $4,000 here. 55 days left, 94 backers. Let's take a quick look at the trailer here, and let the good times roll with this.
G'day everyone, I am the man called Chemo Sabi, the man with the plan from the land down under, and I'm here to talk to you about the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue. The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue adds the action of Suicide Squad to the intrigue of Homeland and Body of Lies. It's strike back with superpowers. In a world where being superhuman is illegal, they are America's dirty little secret. A CIA-funded prevention and response unit on paper, but in reality, a superhuman hit squad protecting the nation's interests in the Middle East. When they receive information that a terrorist attack is imminent, one that will affect even the United States, they follow every lead in a desperate race against the clock to stop it. At every turn, they are betrayed and attacked by enemy and ally alike, until a final showdown tests their loyalty to their country, their job, and each other. This 60-page full-color book is packed with action and intrigue. It's the first issue in a 3-issue story totaling 180 pages, and the language, violence, and concepts are aimed at an adult audience, with a story that is layered and involved. This story, titled Dead, White and Blue, is the first arc out of 4 stories that tell the complete Company Men saga. All the pencils and inks are completed, and about half the colours and letters are done as well. The remaining colours, letters, and the setup of the digital file is budgeted for separate to this Indiegogo campaign. No matter what happens, this book is being published. The fulfillment is being handled independently by RJ from Critical Blast Logistics. Now, you guys know RJ. He's a stand-up guy with experience in this field, and he's worked hard to minimise international postage, letting us pass those savings on to you. We also have a Clayton Barton exclusive variant cover. This image graces the deluxe edition of the Company Men, Dead, White and Blue, an oversized stuffed to the gills edition filled with concept art, pin-ups, script pages, costume designs, page breakdowns, behind-the-scenes info, and sneak peeks at upcoming Company Men projects. The campaign goes live 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday the 19th on Indiegogo. I want to stress again, the success of this book, its ability to be completed, does not rest on this campaign. This campaign is to raise funds for the publishing and distribution of the comic. As we speak, Kelso Mazzina is already hard at work on the first pages of issue 2. You can back this campaign with confidence. And if you think this Aussie accent makes me sound dodgy and you aren't sure if you want to sink some of your hard-earned money into the Company Men, we also have a more inexpensive digital version available in the campaign. But I'm confident once you see how good this book looks, you won't rest until you have a physical copy in your hands. Thanks for having a look at this campaign, thanks for your consideration and support, and I hope you enjoy reading The Company Men, Dead, White and Blue as much as I did writing it.
Right on, man. You did one of the things that is very tough to do with that type of sell when it comes to a trailer is that you made the talking over it actually engaging. I find that a lot of creators, when they go into like the spiel, it's not engaging. That actually engages you, lets the people know exactly what they're getting. Like you hit the nail on the head. It's almost like you've written or you know what you're doing. It's very strange.
Yeah, like I was saying, like every job I've ever had has led up to me being, have the skills to do this sort of thing, being able to speak in public, being able to speak spontaneously, selling a product. Obviously, I've worked as a salesman before, so knowing how to appeal to somebody and giving them the right information they need to let them think it's their decision to purchase the item you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, I wanted to be informative. Someone said, "Oh, look, your trailer and your page is too apologetic. You sound like you're apologizing and you're like trying to convince people, hey, this is why you should give me your money." And I don't. Maybe they weren't wrong about the tone, and I appreciate any sort of input. But I think it come around because there's been so many bad actors, so many people that have said, this is what I'm going to do, and they haven't been able to come through. And sometimes they couldn't help it, and sometimes they could. As a first-time creator, I just really think I need to give people reasons aside from how good the book looks. I mean, there's plenty of good-looking books out there that never got delivered. Yep. There's a lot of talk about that online. People say, oh, I'm waiting on 10 books, and they list the books. I'm like, that's some pretty big names. There's some big names and there's some big books that people made hype about, and they're a year, 2 years more late.
Yeah,
I know I'm not going to be one of those people, so I'm trying to give people validation. Hey, it's 60 pages, it's full color, all the art's done, the coloring's been worked on. We're working on book 2 right now. If you're in the US, you're paying half what you're used to paying on shipping because RJ's handling all the shipping and distribution. I'm going to just bulk ship it over to him. He packages them up, distributes it to you. Anybody who does it while it's in demand or whatever, you get your book within 24 hours. Once the campaign's fulfilled, you contact RJ. He's got the book out in 24 hours. You get it as soon as you can after that within the US.
Nice.
It's all stitched up.
Yeah, man. It sounds like you got it very much dialed in, which is awesome. Let's take a quick look at the campaign here. Now, I know that you've been making the rounds like crazy. This must be like clockwork for you, where you're just like, step, repeat, keep going.
That's okay. That's okay. I've also done jobs where you're doing the same thing over and over again. You get a different batch of people come along, you give the spiel. They go. You get a different batch of people come in. It's like you're like training at workplace and stuff. You get the first group come in, you do your presentation, they piss off. The next group come in, you do the same thing, and you got to make sure you cover the same points. You don't deviate too much because they all need the same information, but you can't fit them all into one room.
No, exactly. And that's why I try to give at least like an hour to everybody. So it's a little bit more relaxed. You're not trying to crunch it into like 5 minutes, because I know
those John Malin streams are brutal. When you got 5 minutes and you're in front of John Malin and you've got to give your pitch, and he's got a pretty big audience, and they're just going, I'm trying to cram it into 5, and I speak quick, like I'm a fast talker.
Yeah, and John doesn't pull any punches with stuff either. If he sees something, he's going to be like, you're XYZ. That's
That's a pretty good imitation, actually. But you need to hear it. Like if people say your campaign page looks good and you've done this and you've done that. That's because other people have given me input. There's been people I've reached out to and said, hey, I see that you know what you're doing and everything. It looks like you're on point. Can you just give this a look? And they give me some feedback. Jason Black, who's in the chat right now, he gave me heaps of feedback. He absolutely tore my page to shreds, but it was the better for it. And he did it in good faith. Like I asked him to have a look through, and he said, construct it like a story. Don't interrupt your own flow. Make sure the art's up the top as close as it can be. And just keep it running from one point to the next. Don't mix it up too much. And that was really good advice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that a lot of people don't take into consideration when you actually put your campaign together. You just, some people just slap it together and they're like, oh, here it is. And then when you go look at it, you're just like, where is everything? Why am I seeing this? And yeah, you got to make it, you got to spoon feed it. And as we all know, like we like pretty pictures as the presentation right up front. So you got your deluxe edition here. That's 80 pages, full color. That's the featured deal with the Barton cover. That's awesome.
That's right. Yeah. So there's you get the standard 60 story pages, because the standard edition is 60 story pages. When I say 60 pages, there's obviously going to be little bits on either side. You got your credits, you got your whatever, you got some stuff at the back there, you got your thank you page, but it's 60 story pages, woe to go. But the deluxe edition is that plus 20 pages of, like I said in the trailer there, concept art, character sketches, script breakdowns, all that sort of behind the scenes stuff that some people like to see.
Oh yeah, man. Especially when you're a creative and you get to see that stuff. Like that's like me growing up, that was like the crack whenever you'd see like, oh, there's the character sketches. Like, can I draw like that? And I'm like, oh no, I can't draw like that. And especially seeing scripts, that's another good one too, is when I do my stuff, I actually write on the page just because it allows me to have a bit more freedom, the lettering and all that kind of stuff, and the pacing of how I want to do stuff. But I know for writers, they like to have everything in full script, panel this is what's said, layout, description, all that kind of stuff. And when I was working storyboards, that stuff would put me to sleep. Like I'd be reading it and I was like, oh man, I know this is the format, but this is so tough for me to read. I
actually script super loose. I'll have, page 45. I'll have a little blurb up the top. On this page, this happens, and it finishes with this happening. I'll just, like Jura's talking to Gates. Gates disagrees with Jura about their next plan of action. Jura's angry. Gates teleports out, obviously pissed off. And then I'll have a little thing saying it's set inside a warehouse. And then I'll just have the dialogue, and then I just let Kelso take care of the rest. I just keep it super loose. He comes at me with these breakdowns. I'm like, I love it. Do it.
That's nice. It's more of a old school Marvel method, but with a little bit more structure to it.
Yeah, because I was originally writing for myself. So originally, because I was writing for myself, I wouldn't even say location. I wouldn't even say, all I had was the dialogue, because I know in my head who was doing what. When I was passing the script on him, I thought I was going to draw this originally, but I just never got around to it. Like I did a couple of early pages, and I never made any progress because I didn't think I was going to get paid for it either. I was just doing it because I didn't want to not see this get made. And then the COVID hit, we had a little bit of money left over because the missus is working and we switched jobs. I was taking care of the kids and she was working again. She makes a bit more than I do. So I had to go back and add some stuff so Kelso knew what I was talking about. So you got your standard edition here. Now all the physical editions come with a digital. So if you buy the deluxe, you get a digital. You buy the standard, you get a digital. My hope is that you look at the digital version and go, well, for a little bit more, I may as well get the physical and the digital. you know, get them both. Why not? So that's 60 pages of story. That's your standard edition. That comes with the Kelso Mazine cover. You're seeing that there, that big picture there. That's the Kelso cover. Yeah. Whereas the deluxe comes with the Barton brothers. There was a secret cover, a secret edition with a Renzo Rodriguez variant cover, and I think that's in here somewhere. But the only way to get that was to sign up to the emailing list beforehand. So that was a little thing I wanted to have to motivate people. We ended up getting more than 300 signups, which is really good. We had 250 a week before the campaign went live, and then we managed to boost it up to 300. With that, there's art giveaways. So we've got original pages by Kelso that we're doing a giveaway for soon for people who signed up and back to physical copy of the book, and also threw in a sketch card by myself. So I've got a bunch of postcards come from Amazon. I have to sit down and crank out 200 or 300 sketch cards for people and have those
just bang those out, you know.
As you do. I draw as quick as I speak. That's okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Then you're set, man. You're set. I've always been in awe of people that can draw quickly, because it's one of those unfortunate things that I can't do. And when I was storyboarding, that was like my Achilles heel. They're like, draw quicker. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, no, I've got a very loose style. You remember in How to Draw Marvel Comics, there's that bit, you know, the Marvel Way, that classic book. I'm sure everybody's seen it. There's a couple of pages there where John is showing like this really sketchy style where he just very sketchily builds up the shape.
Yeah, he's got the very loose gesture of like, yeah.
That's how I do it. I don't know if that's because of art school or, I mean, anyone graduate art school. I'm not saying it's a big deal, but that's how my style's developed. It's very, very loose.
That's awesome. Yeah, I unfortunately am a very, very self-taught, and it's a lot of scribbling to get the line that I want, you know. Like I'll get the gesture where I want it, but then it's just a matter of finding out like going over and over and be like, there's the one that I want. But with digital, oh my God, so much better.
Oh yeah. Control Z is my friend. So there's a triple pack there. That's the only way to get the Renzo Rodriguez cover now is to get it in the triple pack. And that's actually a saving. If you add up the cost of the deluxe and two standards with two different covers, it costs you $110 AUD. So if you buy that one, you're actually saving $10.
Hell yeah. Gotta like that, man. And everyone loves the package deals. That way you're getting everything, save a little bit of cash. Yeah. Oh, you got some original art pages. That's awesome.
Well, so Kelso sending me over a bunch of stuff from Brazil. And because it is a 60-page book, and because it ends on a 10-page battle, and you've got other fights in between, there's plenty of action pages. So if you buy an art page, you're not getting a page of 2 or 3 characters standing around talking. You get a page of somebody getting their arm pulled off, or Abbott tearing some guy's head off, or decapitating a chunk of concrete. You're getting the good stuff. That's why I've had to put a limit on it, because I don't want people just sitting looking at these pages, these characters talking back and forth. I mean, it's going to be well drawn, trust me, but it's not frenetic. It's not exactly motivating. So I wanted to make sure everybody got a really good piece of art.
Oh, you mean they're not in the cafeteria drinking tea and talking about their feelings? No. As I said, drink my tea.
Yeah, I wish I had another cuppa right now. So then you also got traditional character art. So any character you want, you let us know. Kelso will draw that up for you in his style, traditional media. Get that sent over to you as well.
Nice.
Yep. There's the cover, which I really want the cover for myself. But if I'm looking at this long term, this is the first book out of 3 to make 4 different stories, plus spin-offs, plus side stories. And like I've said on every stream I've been on, I've got this is a solid IP. People like it. People are drawn to it. I'm constantly getting feedback. People saying this looks pro. This looks really good. This is right up there. This is one of the better books we've seen. This is going to be one of the books of 2021. I don't disagree with any of that. This is just one IP I've developed out of dozens. Everybody who does this stuff's got 100 characters.
Oh yeah, man.
Everyone's got it.
Yeah, if you're creative, you're not just creative once, man. You got stuff in the fire, iron's burning. Yeah. Forge some steel down the road, but
yeah. So if I can get this cover sold, that money goes towards making the rest of that sort of stuff happen. As much as I want to have it right here on my wall above the computer, so I can look up and see it and remember how it all started.
Yeah,
I'm thinking big picture. I'm thinking to the future as well. We also had a one-off print from Clayton Barton. He drew the cover, and you get that printed off, and he's going to sign that. And that's because he works digitally. That's the one-off. That's the only way to get that, like original artist, as close to original artist we can get.
Yeah. There's it's always a trick working digitally and trying to get some kind of artwork out of it. Yeah. I've managed to do a couple things with my project. I did these limited edition wood prints, and there's like a transfer technique, so I was able to work digitally, and that way each one ends up being unique because of the way that it transfers. Not everyone transfers perfectly, so it'll have its little imperfections. So
yeah, that's cool. And
we got some of the pages here. Yeah, pages look fucking dope.
Yeah, so we've got the first 5 pages. This is, I call this the James Bond intro. You know, you're watching a James Bond movie and he's there doing something really, really cool, and he saves the girl and he stops the terrorist and he defuses the bomb, and then the music plays, James Bond music, you've got the credit and then after the credits, M calls him into the office and says, "Oh, Bond, we've got a problem. Here's the new mission." And you realize that opening sequence was the end of the last movie, the end of the last mission. Yeah, that was his Tuesday. Yeah, you know, now it's Wednesday. He's got a new job to do. Same sort of thing. Yeah, this is Jura. He's got ice powers. He is an operator who's doing a mission in the Arctic, and during the course of that mission, he got mortally wounded and fell into the icy drink of the Arctic, of the water, and his body temperature dropped right down. Now, guys like these operators cost, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to train. So he was pulled out of there, and the government did everything they could to revive him. But the process they used to revive him, to bring his body temperature back up to a point where he lived, left him in a state of perpetual cold. So he's constantly pumping out freezing cold energy. He's like a walking ice age. He just snap freezes everything around. A bit like how Cyclops' optic blast can't be contained except by the ruby visor. So he's got an inhibitor device implanted in his body that limits his power.
Yeah, Iceman had something similar way back in the day too, during the old X Factor days. He actually had I think it was an inhibitor belt or something to amplify his belt. Something happened with his powers, and he had to have something there to do something with it. So
was that after the Goblin Queen, all that sort of stuff?
I think that was right before Inferno.
Okay. It did sound familiar now that you mention it. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, just the idea of these unfettered powers that they can't quite control, in a way, kind of makes them as much a victim as a perpetrator in circumstances. So he's got this device implanted in his wrist, and that keeps his power at a limit. And whatever power he does have, he's able to channel through his gun, because the power constantly comes out like a field of cold. He can't actually focus and direct it very easily. It takes him, and you see him in this, he's not using his gun here. In this scene, he summons an ice storm, and he slowly sort of maneuvers like clay, shapes and maneuvers and channels it towards his target to kill this guy.
Quick question about the character, which I assume might get revealed down the road. But with him falling into the ice and the Arctic and stuff like that, is there any kind of mystical element down the road to that, or is it just straight a physiological thing with him? Now, you don't have to spill the beans on that, because obviously that's lore for the character, but just one of those things as somebody who's looking at this, that's where my brain goes. Like, is this mystical, or is this just like a mutagenic kind of a thing that activated?
No, definitely physiological. It's just one of those bit by a radioactive spider sort of things. There's actually not any magical mysticism in the book at all. Like, that sort of stuff's completely sidestepped. It's all very much like these guys, what I call post-humans. Very few of them are born this way. Mostly it happens either through an accident, but more commonly it's through some sort of biological intervention where they have stuff implanted in them. There's a lot of cybernetics, a lot of, like, you might have a bit like, like Black Widow in modern times. They go, how she always stays so young and fast and strong. Well, it turns out she's always been a cyborg, and she's been jamming life-enhancing drugs in her all this whole time. Yeah. It's that sort of post-human. Again, post-human, you go beyond what the human form can do. So these guys have had stuff added to them to give powers to already capable, competent characters.
All right, cool. I'll pop down here.
Mm-hmm. So he channels the ice storm towards this guy, and then this guy freezes up bit by bit, and then he just shatters. And you can see there's a stump of his wrist there. You can see his intestines coming out the side.
Yeah.
The idea is this guy's he's an awful dictator, a genocidal maniac. I remember watching that Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis, and you see how the different tribes are slaughtering each other.
Yeah.
And there's a Mark Waid Superman book, called Birthright, maybe, where Clark Kent was over in Africa, and he said, how come these guys are killing each other? Like, you don't have racism here because everybody's the same color. And so we don't have racism, we have tribalism. In lieu of racism, they found another reason to hate each other. You're from that tribe, I'm from this tribe, I'm going to come over there and cut you up. Yeah. And in Tears of the Sun, there's awful stuff they're doing to the other tribes, the children, the women. Like, if you've seen that movie, it's hard to sit through, just even hearing what they do to these people without even seeing it. So this is the sort of stuff that's been going on here. This guy's genocidal. He's been attacking these other tribes. He's been trying to wipe them out. He's a monster. So Jura's job is to come in and kill him, and then replace him with the son of the man that he replaced. So this guy killed the king, took over the military coup, a violent coup.
We're going to put our guy in there.
Yeah. Our puppet dictator, and then he's going to push through our policy. And the reason they're doing that is because this guy is funneling terrorists from one nation through to another. They need to get from point A to point C. He's point B. He lets them through for a price. If they put their own puppet dude in there, he stops the flow of extremists, makes a job easier in point C, and then D, E, F, etc. Don't get that follow through, that trickle down. So there's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. And this is all set up within this first 5 pages. Then this guy's dead. His bloody chunks are shattering and scattering all over the stage there. There's a great line where Jura says, this guy's supposed to be a god on earth. He claims to be a literal walking god, yet he's hiding from me behind bulletproof glass. Glass won't save him from this, from the cold.
Yeah.
He dies. Jura gets a call from the boss on his earpiece, and boss says, I need you to go over to Nigeria. One of our informants has been nabbed by Nigeria National Security, and we need his information, and we need him dead before he talks to anybody. So you need to get over there and sort that out.
Yeah.
And you realize this is just Jura's 9 o'clock appointment. He's got by 11:30, he's going to be in Nigeria killing another dude, and by 12:30, and it's just nonstop for these guys. These guys are operators. There's a great bit there where, because this is a police station down the bottom there, and Jura has, Kelso's put bullet holes in the lamppost there just to sort of show that how dangerous this part of the world. People are having gun battles out the front of the police station. Like, there's no regard for the law here. And that's what happens. They go in there and they flash their badge around and say, we're CIA, we're here for this dude. We know that you've got him. And they're like, no, you got no authority here. You better take off. They feed them all these lies saying, no, the guy's not here. No, my boss is not here. I can't help you. And then just as they're like, what are we going to do? Somebody's dragging the dude through the hallway that they're after, and they're like, well, there he is. And then it's a standoff between. Then the police have got guns aimed at them. These guys have got their weapons and their powers aimed at them, and then it kicks off. So it's a very action-paced book. Very there's constantly stuff happening. You go from one event to another, and they always get a clue that sends them off to the next place. The next place is going to be some scenario they've got to deal with, some obstacle they've got to overcome. You're just constantly throwing obstacles at these guys.
Yeah. And it also leaves room and potential for things that happen in the wake after they're gone, if you want to revisit stuff, or something to be following in behind them in their wake. So, no, I like the way that you have the story structure set up. These guys definitely seem like the thing that are breaking through everything and dealing with whatever's in front of them. If there's a brick wall, we'll go over it or through it one way or another.
Yeah. I constantly refer to them as door kickers, men of action. That's exactly right. If there's a problem on the other side of the door, they kick the door open and shoot the problem in the head. They don't muck about. They don't pussyfoot. They don't have to wait to be sanctioned. They got that license to kill. They don't even exist on paper, which is why when they push into this terrorist threat conspiracy and the government says, don't do it, don't look into it, it's not a real thing, it's waste of your time, and they try to redirect them and they continue looking into it, they end up getting burned. The government says, right, well, you don't work for us. In fact, look at the records. You never worked for us. Yeah. And we're going to send our own people after you now because you're compromising a situation. You're getting involved in
there's something bigger than you guys.
It's above your pay grade. So, and then that's when the stakes get even higher. Not only are they trying to stop a terrorist attack and save lives, because they're heartless, but they're not monsters. If you could stop a terrorist attack that's going to kill 10,000 people, you're not just going to sit on your hands about it. You're going to, especially it's a point of pride for these guys. These guys feel like they run the region. They turn up and people are supposed to be scared of them. They turn up, people are supposed to give them the information they need. And now people are pushing back and people are saying, you can't stop this attack. These guys are coming. They're bigger than you. They're tougher than you. It's like, nah, no one's tougher than the company, man. So they push back and it causes a clash constantly. It's a very frenetic book, very, very fast paced.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it definitely sounds like you got plans for an ongoing IP, which is something that everybody in CG seems to be wanting. The fact that you have the second book underway sounds like you have something that's going to be steamrolling from one to the next.
Yeah, quicker and quicker each time. That's the idea, just to build on that momentum. Yeah, and having that extra money means that I can just say to Kelso, like, any money above what I need on this campaign, I can feed in and say, instead of waiting for payday to roll around, because as it is, he does me some pages, I pay him on payday, does his page, pay him payday, just do that cycle. If I've got the extra money, I can just say, look, we'll draw until the money runs out. Yeah. And if you can draw 5 pages in 5 days, 10 pages and 10, do it, and I'll pay you. And then we'll be further ahead by so many weeks. I'd really like to see all 3 books out this year.
That'd be awesome, man.
It's just a matter of if I can get the money to pay him to get it done quick enough. It'd be great to see all 3 Company Men books out this year. Now I've got a December delivery date on this because I haven't done this before. Yep. I got my identity stolen by the Chinese and lost 3 months of my life. I couldn't,
Who knows what'll happen in that time frame?
You just don't know. So I had to give myself a bit of space, but I really believe with enough money, and if I don't have any big hiccups, I'll have this book out in a couple of months. The second one will be done, have that out, and if the third one's not out this year, it'll be in the process of being completed, funding early next year, maybe this time next year for a quick release after that. Then we're looking at the Company Men 2, Heart of Darkness, where they go into Africa to find a rogue nuke that's fallen into the hands of a African dictator who's planning to trigger a war.
Damn, that's awesome, man. No, I really like the project. Everyone that I've talked to about this has their eyes on it. Everyone, and I think you've even said it too. You're trying to give that Jawbreakers vibe because your boy Zach ain't doing it right now. So
I remember when he announced Jawbreakers, and I was listening to his video. I'm thinking, you son of a bitch, that's the company. I was going to do that, but he's got the platform, he had the money, he had the time, he's getting all that those sweet Patreon dollars, which I just didn't have access to at that time. I was still working full time, and I never thought I was going to get a comic made. But I've likened the Jawbreakers more to a G.I. Joe cartoon, and this closer to, you're saying, like Body of Lies, something like Homeland, with those Suicide Squad vibes, with some guys who are willing to do those awful things that nobody else wants to do. So there's definitely in a Venn diagram, there's definitely overlap, but it's not as much as people will think. I think two ends of the spectrum, really.
And there's always definitely more room for this type of action. Everyone seems to enjoy when you have a bunch of badasses that get together and start wrecking shit. So
yeah, I think it's voyeurism, it's wish fulfillment. To see somebody act with impunity, to see somebody act. They say it's better ask for forgiveness, not permission. These guys don't even ask for forgiveness. There's kicking down doors, they're solving problems, and nobody can really stop them. There's something. I liken it to Taken with Liam Neeson, especially the first Taken movie. Like nobody even slowed him down until right at the end when he fights that little dude with the knife.
Yeah.
When he starts to he gets a few cuts and a few slices on him, and you're like, oh, this guy's not a bad fighter. Maybe he'll give Brian Mills a bit of. But up until that point, he was just an absolute monster.
Yeah, just stomps through everybody.
Yeah, he's sitting in the kitchen with the French bloke who used to be his co-worker or whatever, and the French guy won't give him the information he wants. So Liam Neeson just turns around and shoots the dude's wife in the arm. She's a complete innocent. She doesn't know. She's like, here, have some greens, Brian. Sit down to dinner with us, Brian. He's like, pap, there you go. Have some of that.
Some of them greens.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's sort of vibe I want to get. Like these guys, they will. There's a scene there where Juro freezes this soldier's leg and shatters his leg because he won't give him the information he needs. So that's your career done, son. You'll never work in the field again. If you don't give me what I want, I'm going to take your other leg too. And I know, in light of, I won't say that. I know there's some people who don't like that sort of violence in their book, but there's some who do. So I'm definitely a proponent of getting a book that appeals to as many people as possible, that will sell to as many people as possible. I want this to be my career. I want this to be profitable. I want it to roll forward into the next book and the next and keep building those IPs like an inverse pyramid.
Yep.
But at the same time, I don't want to pull any punches. And I've gotten plenty of people that say, hey, I've been looking for a hardcore book. There's so many PG-13 books. There's a few kid-friendly books, which is great. I hope there's books for everybody. I hope there's books for the trans and the bis and the gays and the rainbows and the straights and the cis and the whites and the black. Everybody can have a book. Have a book. Oprah, you get a book. You get a book.
Yeah,
you get a book. Do it. Don't replace my book with your book, but everybody gets a book. That's fine.
Yep.
This is a book for people who want that hardcore action, those bad dudes, that bit of voyeurism. It's like a horror movie. Why do you watch a horror movie for? To be scared and to see the monster do what it does. It's to put yourself in that place. A similar thing. Put yourself in the place of these guys. See them act with impunity. Imagine what it would be like to have that sort of power and just steamroll through all these people who are in your way with this righteous fury of, hey, I'm the good guy. I can do what I want, and I can do awful things for bad things for a good reason.
Yep. Yeah, and also too, one of the big things that's going on with the comic books and the industry and TV right now is just that weird projection of me as a character, or how does it go? You're projecting what would that character do if it was me, And so like, no. You're supposed to become that character. You're supposed to go on their ride. You're supposed to go on their adventure. Nobody cares about the shit I'm doing because I'm, in reality, I'm sitting here drawing like that. That's why this works versus what they're doing. This is anybody can choose to become that character. Exactly.
See how James Bond paradigm, they say that men look at James Bond and go, not bring him down to my level. Yeah. The dad bod.
Yeah.
But say, gee, I wish I was that guy. There's that Kate. Well, Batman's the same, You don't go Batman. I wish Batman was a fat slob sitting on the couch eating Cheetos like me. No. I want to be Batman,
Yeah.
But keep my parents. I want to keep my parents. They're great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've all seen the meme where it's just like, I would be like Batman is like, I've just killed your parents. And like,
yeah. So it's definitely a bit of voyeurism. Jump into this guy's skin and go along for the ride and see the sort of stuff they do.
Yeah, man. Was it Jason Black says here, has anyone gone back to watch G.I. Joe? Hasbro has been streaming it, objectively unwatchable trash. I think we had better stories in our heads as kids.
I definitely think G.I. Joe was the potential of what you could do in the world with all these crazy characters. And there's definitely a G.I. Joe vibe here. Like these guys aren't super into spandex. Like if you look at some of their outfits in it, they could almost be G.I. Joe toys. And that was the vibe I wanted to go for.
Yeah, man.
Because there's a sort of superhero slant to some of the G.I. Joe characters, especially the ninjas and that. That's
where you have that team shot of everybody here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's badass. And You got what's this character again? This is Durer.
Jura, yep, like the artist.
Okay, right. And you got the dude that's constantly burning. That guy's badass looking. Yeah.
And that was Kelso. He said, "Oh, when I draw him, can I draw him with his skeleton showing through? Like, because Jura's actually Cinder's actually a man of ash and flame and smoke." And so he said, "Well, when he uses his powers, wouldn't all of his flesh and skin turn into smoke and ash and flame off his body, and you'd see the skeleton underneath?" I'm like, "Bro, yes, do it."
Yeah,
like,
visually,
anything he's come to me with, I've said, "Yeah, do it." He said, "Oh, look, can I make Boss sexier because there's no chicks in this book, and I want to draw some pretty ladies." I'm like, "Yeah, do it." He goes, "Can I put some dancing girls in the hookah bar?" I'm like, "Yeah, do it." He wants some AAT or some ass titty in there.
Yeah.
You got Boss there with her. She's got a bionic hand. They talk about how she loses a hand in the book, so that's sort of revealed during the course of the story. And that's got Wi-Fi. She can hack stuff. She can use it as like a little recon drone. It can make an energy field to protect her. It can discharge huge charge of electricity like a taser one-off.
Okay.
It's strong enough to
have like some EMP capabilities as well to disrupt stuff. And
yes, it's like a utility belt. It's just whatever I need at the time, it'll be built into there. She can block bullets with it, but she's not that fast, and you can't be super strong with it because your bionics are only as strong as the tendons and muscle behind it. Yeah. But she can still crush a dude's hand, or it's going to hurt if you get hit with it. So, but she's not actually in the field that much. She's the boss. She sits back at the tower and she communicates and directs them. Yeah. It's only right at the end of the book that she's forced to come out into the field because she gets dragged into the whole thing too. Yeah. And then the stakes get higher for her. You got Ramjet at the side there. He's the speedster. He's the new guy. So in this world, it's illegal to be metahuman and American. If you're born metahuman, if you're born as a posthuman, you don't have American citizenship. And the only way to get it is to earn it through service. So a lot of these guys, there's propaganda constantly. We want you, but it's all superhero stuff and capes and masks. And they born metahuman. Your kid's metahuman, and they say, all right, we'll submit them to the government. We'll raise them right. We'll give them a costume. We'll send them over there to be a superhero. Because there's only very few sanctioned superheroes in the United States. So this guy Ramjet, he's come straight off the boat, fresh off the boat, and he's expecting, it's going to be like a Marvel comic, but instead it's like the Hurt Locker or something.
Yeah, it's blood and guts everywhere, and he's just like, "What the hell am I into?"
Yeah. And he's in full spandex with the mask, looking like a complete idiot. And they're like, "What are you wearing?" Because this is what they gave me. They gave me a code name and a costume, and he's like, "You're gonna have to, because the rest of the guys, aside from having like a colorful shirt." Jura having like a colorful sort of purple and blue shirt and those sort of mechanical
armor going on. It looks like.
Aside from that sort of stuff, it's all pretty much just jackets and VDUs and combat boots. So he's sort of the sore thumb at the moment. And he's got to work hard to try and earn the respect of his peers. He's the youngest. He's the rookie. He's everything he does is like they disapprove of. He's like, "Oh, come on, what have I got to do to get through to these guys?" You've got Abbott there. He's the
guy with all the old grizzled vets.
Yeah, there's a great scene where Jura's there talking to Boss about this is what we know, this is what we're planning to do. She goes, "That's cool." And he's like, "Who's this?" She goes, "This is Ramjet. He's the new guy." And he's like, "Well, I don't want him. I put him for such and such." She goes, "No, you've been asking for a speedster. You've been requisitioning a speedster off me for 4 years. I finally got a speedster. Take the speedster." So I don't want him. You take him. Look at the way he's dressed. He's going with you. It's not a debate. Take him with you. Go do what you said you were going to do. He's like, "All right, come along, you kids," sort of thing. So there's good back and forth there. There's lots of this sort of saying. I don't probably say enough. It's a fun book. It's funny, like the back and forward. You got, 4 or 5 shit talking guys just constantly at each other all the time in good naturedness. But when it comes down to it, they're loyal. They band together. They got each other's back. Even Gates, who's the most mercenary of them all, he's the teleporter up the back using that pink energy. He's teleporting some cars into, like he'll just teleport a car into you. You'll just merge into your body and be sticking out your body and you'll be dead, fusing those atoms together. Even though he's the most mercenary of the lot, there's times where he comes in clutch as well to make sure that everybody is he'll teleport the bullets out of someone's gun so they can't shoot, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's a definite vibe that I'm getting off of you is that you personally are having a blast making this.
It's so much fun. It's just fun to write. And it writes themselves. These guys, as I said, I've never had such a pure writing experience. There's no distraction. There's nothing in the way. I was just able to sit down and the stories and characters and dialogue, but they've got their own voice. They turn up with their own voice.
I was just going to ask when you're writing this, it probably comes out. You just think of like, oh, what would so-and-so say in this? And you can click into and hear them actually talking. Yeah.
And when that becomes instinct and that becomes reactionary rather than something you've got to think about or force, I think that's when you hit that really, really sweet spot where they tell you what they're going to say. But it's also a dangerous bit of territory, as you probably know, because they then want to go in their own direction. And you've got to sort of you got to walk that line between pulling them back onto script, but also not losing that gold when they go panning for gold on their own. You don't want to lose it, you know. But sometimes they go so off track, and you think, "Oh, do I go with this?" And you lose time. You write it for a bit, and you go, "Nah, I've got to bring it back." But that was cool. Maybe I can use it somewhere else. I don't waste any ideas. I put them all on the back burner, and I come back to them at some point in the future.
No, that's a smart thing too. Adam Hughes was talking about how he like whatever sketch he uses or idea that he has, he'll draw it, he'll jot it down because he knows that's less work that he has to do in the future because he can always come back to that.
Yeah.
So it's just the classic, working smarter, not harder. Like you've done it once. Why would you get rid of it?
The idea of having an idea and losing it, like I hate not having something around to write the idea in. The idea of having a really good idea and losing it haunts me. I'm haunted by the ideas. I had an idea for a fantastic, it's like a slasher movie, but it's set in the Old West, this Old West guy getting revenge. Just a very straight up slasher flick. And it just is so perfectly structured in my head and I can't get it back. And I don't know if I ever will. And that's a story that might never be told now.
But the thing is that you have the ghost of it, Yes. It's still there. You just can't focus in on it yet.
Yeah, it might come out being different than what I imagine, but it's rather than being sort of pantsing, it'll have to be more procedural about it and sit down and work through it bit by bit and really, really plot it out tightly. But it just frustrated me that I don't remember. I was like out in the middle of somewhere and I did everything to write it down. I'm like, I've got to remember this. And I do only have the ghost of it now. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
there's elements there's clever elements around the edge that I've forgotten.
But at least you have the ghost and it just didn't fucking gone, Like how many of those have you had too? Because I know I've had tons of those, right? Be like, halfway drunk, be in the bar or something like that, taking a piss. And the idea of like creation hits you and you're like, I have nowhere to write this down. Like
just on the wall, the wall. Come back for it later. Yeah, it's no, I love doing this. I love doing the writing thing. I love being a creative. I love being a creator. I see these guys who are amazing artists, and they're after people say, "Look, I want to collaborate with someone. Someone got a script, and or somebody want to pay me to write their book." I think I'd rather be in the position I am, and it's easy to say that because it is the position I am, and I can't change it. I think I'd rather be in the position I am, being able to write and have these stories, and then contract great artists to do the work for me, than be on the other side around where I'm this amazing artist, but I need someone else to give me input. Otherwise, I'm just doing Batman pinups all day on Twitter waiting for someone to contract me. At least this way I can always create. I'm writing every day. I can, on a good day, if the kids don't bother me too much, I can smash out a good 10K words of written text in them. Yeah. So I've got a couple novels I've written. They'll be up on Amazon soon. I'm just getting some cover art done for them because you've got to have good cover art. So that's something else I'm going to be doing. I'll talk a bit more about that in the future. But I've got, for all the ideas I've got in comics, I've got that many ideas again in novels. Yep. That sort of thing. So I got
and I was going to say this too, because I've been listening to you on a couple other things, and you brought this up too with the whole working the novel thing. It's being very smart and diversifying exactly what you're doing, because you're not just pigeonholing yourself into like, I'm just doing comic books. It's like, no, I'm writing, and I'm writing a bunch of stuff because, like you said, you can't have that shit rattle around in your head. It does no good in there. It's got to come out.
Yeah. Oh shit! That's what I was going to say. That happens.
Yeah, it does happen, man. Just gonna quickly pop in on the chat here, see what everyone's saying. Let's see, we got Dar Hernandez coming to Mark, miss you on his streams. Mo Biggs, Colors Cletus is almost late for his shift at Foster's Brewery because he had to wait for Kemosabe to take a breath before he could leave Skip stream. Oh man, just want to thank everybody that's popped in here for Kemosabe. And up next, we actually have Daniel Parker that's going to be coming up. Got him in the green room here. So you're more than welcome to hang out, chill out, shoot the shit. Any kind of like last words you want to say about the project? Anything that you want to plug? Any kind of like Instagram? Anything else that you want to do?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, I'm on YouTube. Kemosabe Returns, doing critical indie video reviews. I think anybody who knows the project probably knows that's what I do, and that's the platform I built to try and prove that I know how to tell a good story. If I can be critical about somebody else's work and say this is what worked, this is what didn't, this is how to do it differently. I wanted to give people that confidence that I know how to write a good story, and then I've got a great artist. and you see the result. An amazing colorist, you see the result there. The Company Men logo, Mark, that was done by Bob Stone. So if you hear about Bob Stone on Twitter, he's an amazing graphic designer. He charges top notch, but that's the work to get out of him. Like, you got to pay your artists what they're worth. So the work on this book's just about complete. We've got 100% of all the pencils and inks done, 50% of the color, 25% of the, well, actually more than 50% of the color, because I got 5 more pages come through yesterday or day before. So, and all the money for this book to be completed is budgeted separate from this campaign. This is a 60-day campaign. I'm not getting this money until April. You know, the book will be done by then. Like, it's all budgeted separately. I'm paying Kelso to work on book 2. This money is just for the distribution and the publishing of this book. Then anything that's left over, I mean, I'd like it to do, you know, I don't see why it shouldn't be a 5-figure campaign. You know, if it can do 10, 20, that'd be lovely to pay for all the shipping, and then I can feed that forward into the next book.
Hell yeah, man.
And there's also on standard editions, free shipping within Australia. So if you buy the standard edition, or if you got the Renzo Rodriguez cover, that's free shipping. I couldn't do free shipping on the triple pack. It's just a little bit too heavy. I had to throw a little bit of cursory shipping on there, but it's still not a lot. And remember, all these prices are in Australian dollars. So anything you look at is going to be cheaper than you're used to paying in the US. And working with RJ at Critical Blast to get him to distribute within the US means that the shipping costs on a book is sort of roughly, I think, half what you'd expect to pay from Australia or from overseas. You're not paying $25 shipping or $20 shipping on a $25 book. You're paying like half that, paying like $10, $12, $13, depending on where you are.
That's
so
great.
I'm trying to make this book as accessible as possible. I'm trying to get it into as many hands as possible. That's why I'm going digital.
Yep.
You know, so everybody gets a chance to get that book. But if you go the digital, chuck another 10, 15 bucks on there, you get the physical, get it sent out to you anyway. You might as well. It's like I said in the video, I'm sure the book looks so good. Once you've seen it digital, you're going to be like, I wish I bought this physical. Get on it.
Yeah, man. And it's also smart too with the digital having the package there. Some people don't want to crack open the book. They want to keep it pristine. They can read the digital and have like the collected volume tucked away. Because I know that there's a bunch of people, a bunch of speculators right now that are looking at CG being like, oh, I want in on this. Like, because it's all limited print run stuff too. So
that's right. Everything's got to be a limited print run just to keep those costs down. So the first time this book goes out, there's only going to be a couple of hundred of them, just enough to cover what's there and a little bit left over. And in the second campaign, you know, any love get left over, I'll put into that. But I'll probably also do a second run with a new cover, do a 1-2 pack, and then when the third book's finished, get a triple pack. I mean, that's just the business model. That's what everybody does.
My sketchbook 340 has a very important question, and he asks, will there be a bogan on the team?
Well, Abbott's a redneck, which I believe is like an American bogan. He's a straight up and down redneck. This little fact about him is the bounty on his head in this region where they're operating and fighting is bigger than the bounty on every other post-human in the region's head put together. So you get everybody else and total them up. Abbott's is bigger. He's the baddest dude. He's their boogeyman. They see this big white dude with the mohawk and the glass and like, oh, we're all gonna die. You know, like he's just a murderer. He just absolutely kills everybody. He's a raw redneck, and he's brash, crude, and he says some of the funniest stuff. He's just straight up and down. But in book 3, there's actually an Australian character. So it took me until book 3 before because I wrote all these books years ago, and I just didn't know how much the Aussie thing was going to be a big deal with CG. Like, people seem to love Aussies. They love the Aussie gimmick. Love talking about Vegemite and VB and Foster's. Not that anybody over here drinks Foster's, Mo.
It's the that whole weird Crocodile Dundee anchor that's mentally implanted with all of us over here.
Yeah, I think so. And for years, the Australians resented it, but right now we're making a name off it. So I can't be too cross at old Paul Hogan. Hogs.
Nope. lean into his glory, you know, Shane.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm shameless. I'm happy to ride the Jawbreakers coattails. I'm happy to ride some Paul Hogan coattails too.
Well, I don't think you're riding anybody's coattails because this project looks fucking badass, man.
Thanks.
So anybody who's out there, definitely go and back the Company Men. Like I said, 55 days is going to go by quicker than you expect. We're at 94 backers, literally like almost at 100 here. Let's give it a little quick refresh, see if anybody's picked up. I'm not that popular.
Yes, it's stalled the last couple of days. I don't know, I think it's just how it goes, I think.
You're doing the right thing, man. You're getting on every channel, trying to get as many eyes on the project as possible. And you are everywhere that I've been looking at lately. So it's like, oh, go on this channel. It's like, oh shit, there he is.
Yeah, I'm trying. People have been really good getting back to me. Some of the bigger names, I know they're probably really busy. I feel a bit cheeky reaching out to a really, really big name person. Like, you know, like I'm into like, you know, the top tier of CG that everybody knows it's going to have thousands of people. You don't feel like you can reach out and say, hey, check out my book. because of stuff that's going on. But like, I know it's a good book, and I know I can be entertaining, and I got that fast talk and the Aussie thing going. I think people would like to see it. I really believe it's just a matter of getting eyes on it. If enough people see this, enough people, it's a percentage game. 10 people see it, 5 people like it, 3 people back it, 2 people come back next time, 1 person's a fan for life.
Yep.
And you just keep working on those percentages. You get that core of true fans that'll come back for anything you do, anything that's got your name on it.
Yep, that's right. And from the sounds of it, you got a lot of things that you're willing to put out there in the future, because you're creatively, I can see the wheels turning. If you're this far in with this project, I know that you have other things. And
yeah. And I've already talked with people. Like, I'm working with Dean James on a project, working with a few other people. I won't say because I don't know if they want me to, but there's people that are around here even now that I'm working on some stuff with. I've got other characters. People say, I've got like some pulp type stuff that I want to work with the Diaz brothers with, stuff like that. So a lot of irons in the fires. Hell
yeah, man. Well, I'm super stoked for your project here. I know that everybody else that has been talking about it. It's on the tip of everybody's tongue that I've been chatting with. So
yeah, it's really vindicating. It's fantastic to just have people say, yeah, this is what I say about having beta readers and editors. I'll wrap up soon because I know you got a jump off with Daniel, but you just need someone to look at it and say it's not terrible. Mm-hmm. You just want someone to look at it and say, this is valid. It might be a 5 out of 10 valid. It might be a 10 out of 10 valid, but this is valid. You just need that justification. I got that from people. And I had plenty of people review the script, give me feedback. I know this is a really solid book. I know it looks good. I know it's got amazing art. The story's great because I wrote it, and I'm writing what I want to read. I'm writing the sort of level of humor and entertainment and complexity I want to read. It's just getting it in front of people's eyes so they can see that it's a quality book. And once I've got it in their hand, I'm sure they'll be back for the second and the third.
Hell yeah, man. Well, with people turning people into ice, ice mush here.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be brutal. And that's, it also has that bit of like 90s grittiness going into it too. Yeah. That seems to be on everybody's plate that they want to eat up right now too.
Yeah, I loved all that old stuff, Brigade and Youngblood and that. Like, I loved Brigade. I had all the books because you used to be able to get them at the cheap shop here. I suppose they had a bunch of excess, and they used to bag them up 3 or 4 with the card, chuck them in a plastic slip, sell them for $2 at Fair Dinkum Bargains, which is like this nationwide chain store of $2 store type thing that we used to have in Australia.
Get the little bundle of them, and
so we used to just go in with your pocket money or any money that you'd saved up or stolen from Dad's side table and buy yourself 3 Rob Liefeld books, 3 Michael Murat books, Murat Michaels, I mean. I loved all that stuff. That's formative for me. So there's definitely an element of that here. That sort of easy come, easy go, rough, crude. These guys don't value life so much until it matters, till right at the end of the book when everything comes in.
Yep. Yeah, it has that vibe of completely over the top, but in the realm of their world, it's just right where it should be,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like Tarantino talking about how the Kill Bill movies are movies in the world of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sort of thing. Like this is the frenetic top level. Yeah. But for them, this is just their world. It's like this all the time. You're assassinating 5 world leaders before lunchtime.
Yeah. Oh man, I got the salad I got to eat, but I got to kill so-and-so.
You order the fish. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. That's the cafeteria talk. Those are the pages nobody's getting.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Kimosabe, like I said, you're more than welcome to hang out if you got a piece out. I know that you're a very busy man. Many plates spin out there.
I better go sort the kids out, get them to school and stuff. I was like when you said it's going to be this time, like that's perfect because that's just the hour right before I've got to drop them off to school. So that really works out well for me.
Excellent. And you're more than welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you.
Talk about this project as it like wraps up because I guarantee you're going to be doing the final wrap up tour as the day.
Yeah.
And any other projects that you got coming up, feel free to hit me up and I will get you on here as soon as possible.
Will do. Thanks, mate. This has been a fantastic stream. Just like you said, really chill vibe. Exactly the sort of thing I like. I've noticed a bunch of dudes that get you on. They say, well, just tell us in your words. And that works for me because I'm a talker. And then they do the thing you're doing where they interject and say, well, what about this? What about this? Just tease out a little bit more information from me, stuff that people in the chat might want to hear. It's a great format.
Yeah. And from the looks in the chat, like everybody's been super active here. This has hands down probably been the most busiest chat I've had. So that goes to a testament to everybody that's been looking at your project and wanting to hear what you say about it. So thank you for coming on, man.
Thanks again for having me. It's been great. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. And it's going to bring on Daniel Parker here. Let you guys say hello to each other. Bam. There we go.
Hey, man. How's it going?
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah, good. Thanks. There you go, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping on there, man. We had a little bit of mishap last week, much like I had with John Hervey. You two are also suffering from the Texas cold that is crippling everybody.
Yeah. Last week was not fun. Not fun at all. No power, no water, and sub-freezing temperatures. So, but
Did you have your pipes burst?
thankfully, no, my pipes did not burst. I can't say the same for the other people who live in my apartment complex, but I was very fortunate in that regard. But
as long as you remain unscathed, that's all that matters.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Daniel, have you met Kimasabi here?
Yeah, we've been on a couple of streams together.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah, you run across some familiar faces when you do it enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, we got your mailing list here for Angels Awakening.
Yes. So, for those of you who don't know, Angels Awakening is a 32-page graphic novel. And set 100 years in the future, Jessica Sawyer is a spy with the psychic ability of teleportation. On her first mission, she's sent deep into enemy territory to recover a body in cryogenic stasis, which is vital to the security of her homeland. Jessica must call on all of her training and abilities to complete her mission as a powerful water elemental stands in her way.
Cool.
I'm just going to jump off, boys. So I dropped the kids off to school. Good seeing you, Dan. Good luck with your campaign and the interview. And thanks again for having me on, Ryan.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, no problem.
Welcome anytime.
See you later,
See you
guys. And everybody who signs up for the mailing list, when you back the comic book, you will get an exclusive trading card.
Very cool. Now, with this project, is this just a one-shot, or is this going to be leading into like a ongoing series?
It is a lead-in to an ongoing series. This one, I affectionately call this my Rogue One. It's basically a setup to the next story that I have, which I'm working on right now. Actually, I've been working on it for years, but the next story, this story ties into the next book that I have in the works right now.
All right, cool. Are you the writer and artist on this, or?
I am the writer and the creator, but no, my artist is Bogdan. He's somebody that I found through. I actually found him through Micah Curtis, because I've been in Micah's Discord for a little while, and I know Bogdan and Micah are going to be working on a book later on. Actually, I think Bogdan's next book after this one is going to be the one he's working on with Micah. And I got in touch with him and had him do some concept art for Jessica. And I really loved the way he drew her. And I said, I'd really like for you to work on this book. And he said, yeah, he would love to do it. And the rest, as they say, is history.
And now that concept art, like I've been scouting out your Instagram. Is that the stuff that's on your IG?
I think some of it might be on my IG, yeah.
Okay, mind if I bring that up?
Sure.
Yeah, pop that up there.
Let's see.
So go here.
Yeah, that's the trading card art.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah. And then I've been meaning to post more here on IG. That's the initial cover. Without that's the Virgin cover, which I am going to offer as a one of the books once the campaign launches.
When's the launch date for it?
I'm looking at 4 to 6 weeks to do that. So, late March, early April, somewhere around there.
Yeah, you're in the same ballpark as me. I'm looking for around probably late May for my project. So I think there's going to be a bunch of us that are going to be rushing in for that springtime adventure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and there's the penciled ink version.
Nice. And is this the concept artwork?
That's a panel from the first page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are Jessica's eyes, and that's one of the pages. I've been like I said, I've been meaning to put more page artwork on here, but yeah, this is part of her infiltration.
And she's porting in right there.
Yeah, she's porting in right there.
Nice.
And then that's the previous page from the other.
That's the one downside with Instagram is like when you go through it, you end up going backwards through everything.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So the rest of these are just commissioned artwork that I've had done of Jessica, early designs and stuff.
Right on.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh yeah, everybody likes a redhead in a skin tight suit.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
That was actually this one's actually the first one that I did, done by Michelle Hofner or Hofner, I think. I'm not sure, Hofner or Hofner.
Yeah.
She's a splash artist for League of Legends.
Oh, cool! Very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of the early concept designs that I had done had her looking too much like Black Widow. So I had to
pull it back a little bit.
Pull it back. I had to had to work with Bogdan to do some tweaks to the design, and yeah,
it's one of those things too. It's especially when you're a writer, you don't know until you see it, and then you don't know if you're hitting the nail on the head or if you got to pull it back a little bit or go in a completely different direction.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So you have been writing for a while. Is this your first project? What's your tale of the tape when it comes to the creation of this?
So this is my first comic book, first project that I'm done. I've been wanting to write for a long time. Before this, up until about 6 years ago, I owned a small business with my folks, and then I went in. We sold our business, and I wanted to become a writer full time. And initially, I was going to do novels, not comic books. But then, as I was developing the story for the universe that I'm creating, I thought, well, this might work better as a comic book series than as a novel series, so that people can actually see the characters and actually see the action playing out.
Yeah.
So I decided then. 2019, I decided to go the comic book route, and then, started writing the scripts out. And of course, that was right around when COVID was just about to hit. So I kind of went, okay, well, I need to do something.
Back in the day when we all had plans to do things, and then
yes, and then a virus from China came in, and
and then here we all are now.
Yeah.
But on the plus side, like Kimasabi said, it gave him the opportunity to sit down, focus on what he wanted to do. And I think a lot of us creatives, it kind of did the same thing for a lot of us. Like, well, wait a minute, I got time to do the thing I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Here I go. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No more excuses.
Oh, it's a nice piece.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite ones. Yeah. The artist, her name was Petrona. I want to say she's Russian, but she's incredibly talented. Yeah,
there's a lot to read on that, which is like facial expression, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is your first stab at comic books. I assume you, much like all of us, you've read comic books growing up.
I read a few comic books. Most of my my foray with superheroes was mostly through the medium of TV and movies.
Okay.
But yeah, when I was a kid growing up, I watched Batman the animated series, and the Tim Burton Batman movies. But I actually started getting into comic books. Kind of want to say right around my 20s. When I was when the MCU kind of started to become a thing, went and read a lot of Iron Man and a lot of Captain America, and then read Miss Marvel back when it was Carol Danvers, and she was hot, and
but she was also in a black suit and hot. Oh, funny how those things go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I also was looking into Black Widow, and I have to confess, I have a real as you might be able to tell, I have a real thing with sexy spy ladies and sexy thieves and stuff, and especially when they're in real tight bodysuits. So
nothing wrong with it. That's like I guarantee all of us have a little spot in our heart for, all of that. There's a reason I went to strip clubs.
Yeah, I mean, it's
educational reasons.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, well, part of my, watching Batman was, of course, seeing Catwoman. So that helped bring me into, early puberty years.
Here's a woman in a tight black leather outfit. Did you see the thing that was making the rounds recently of Michelle Pfeiffer doing the whip thing all in one take?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh shit, that's like, forgot about that. And then you see everybody just like, yeah, fucking one take, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, I want to say that was on the Blu-ray special features on the Batman Returns Blu-ray. So yeah, I remember seeing that. That was pretty awesome, and it was kind of like the in Alien Resurrection when Sigourney Weaver throws the basketball up and look shot, and she hit it right on the first take.
Yeah. Let's see. Darren Wagner says Catwoman made me feel funny as a child.
Yes,
made a lot of us feel funny as a child.
Yes, same here.
I want to do things, but I don't know what I want to do.
Exactly. Yeah. This one here. This was one of the first ones I got from Bogdan, where we went through and started fixing up her suit a bit. So instead of the zip up on the front, we gave her the nice little boob window there, and
God bless Power Girl for the boob window.
Yes.
And it looks like we got Bogdan in the chat there too. Hey, Bogdan.
All right. Hey, Bogdan. Yeah, I promised Bogdan I would show a lot of artwork from the book. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then now we're caught up in proper.
Yeah. But yeah, cool. When I was first coming up with the book, I just initially when I was coming up with the story, Jessica wasn't really that prominent of a character. She was actually going to be more of a sidekick, kind of like Wilma Deering to my future main character. That guy right there. She was going to be his Wilma Deering to his Buck Rogers, but okay. As I started writing her and fleshing out her character, I'm like, I really like her a lot, and I want to tell her story, and I want to put her in her own story, her own mission. So that's how Angel's Awakening came about.
Yeah, as I was talking with Kemosabe, sometimes the characters start speaking loudly, and you can't help but notice. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we're going to deal with them because they're screaming in my head right now.
Yeah, exactly. But
that's cool because obviously he's going to be coming in at some point on some of the adventures.
Oh yeah, yes, he'll be in there in the next story. Little spoiler there, but.
That's awesome. So 32 pages, full color graphic novel, launching in March-ish.
Yeah, March, April-ish.
Very cool. And this one is just going to be kind of like a retrieval mission, her going in, doing her thing, and then being interrupted, and then all hell breaks loose.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah.
Very, very, very cool.
There's also the early page. The early pages are going to have. Yes, Bogdan, no spoilers. The early pages are going to have will have her backstory or a little bit of her backstory. So.
Okay. Because I was going to ask with her powers and her abilities. Are they natural? Are they, induced via mechanics or some kind of bioengineering, mystical aspect? Because obviously you're going to go into that, into her story, but is there anything that you can kind of tease without spoiling anything so Bogdan doesn't come jumping down your throat there?
I will say that she wasn't necessarily by choice for her to have her powers.
Okay.
I'll say it, I'll put it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
So things were happening beyond her control.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, the vibe that I'm getting from this is shadowy organizations. There's going to be some subplots behind the scenes once the ball gets rolling.
Oh yeah, yeah. There will be. Especially in the next story is going to have quite a bit of intrigue, and I kind of want to say it's a cross between a season of 24 and Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's going to be. But this story here is just very straightforward. Not just real fun action story with lots of beautiful women and just cool action set pieces. So.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a nice introduction to the main character, and then from there branching off into the main story that is going to follow after this.
Yeah, and I've got do have a couple of pages would like to share.
Yeah. It goes up.
Yeah. Let's see. And
then just want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out. Let's take a quick look here. Let's see. Lost my daytime job, had more time to draw. Yeah, that's the COVID aspect definitely freed up time for a lot of us.
Yeah. So this is one of the this is during the climax of the book. Like really cool motorcycle chase that I gotta say Bogdan did an incredible job with it.
Man, chase scenes are one of the hardest things to draw because it's. I was talking with Joe Catapano, who did Star Circuit, and we had a little discussion about that, and just trying to make a chase scene on paper is very, very challenging. So yeah, kudos to Bogdan.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with how this book has turned out. I couldn't ask for a better artist on this. It's just, I mean, this is kind of, being able to do this has been a dream come true so far, and I really hope that, I just, I want to be able to share what I've created and with other people, and obviously showcase some incredible artwork from Bogdan. So.
Well, you're doing the right thing. Hopping on streams, like I'm new to all this stuff. I'm new to sharing my channel to people. So I fumbled my way through all this shit. So I'm glad that anybody who wants to come on here with me, like, oh man, you got to go with that guy. That guy can't handle shit. But the good thing is, majority of the time, it's the other creators that are coming on with the stuff to show. So thankfully, you guys do a lot of the heavy lifting for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'll do anything I can to help.
Oh yeah. You got any more pages, or is just
yeah,
or is Bogdan gonna like?
No, I'm trying to just keep it. Well, I don't remember what I was gonna say. No, I've got another page here that I've been debating whether or not to show it, but it's such a cool page. I don't know if I can hold back anymore. So let me bring it up here. So
Bogdan, no spoilers. Darren Wagner with the AA titty, as we all know, we all love the AA titty.
Yes, there's plenty of AA in this book. I will say that we don't. We're unlike BioWare. We're not censoring the booty.
Man, it's getting ridiculous out there.
Yeah.
I'll just add this up there. Oh, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, when I first saw this page finished, I'm like, holy shit. Just, I mean, incredible.
Good work, Bogdan.
Yeah. Yeah, there's the fights between Jessica and Sky are pretty intense, and they're really fun to look at. So
now, in this world of your super spies, are there going to be like continual encounters with like the same villains and stuff like that, or is it the more the potential of the monster of the week kind of a thing, or are there competing agencies going after other things?
So there will be some reoccurring villains that will pop in and out. Mainly, it's just it's the two rival nations that are fighting against each other. One is a tyrannical empire. The other one is a free democratic nation. And so the elementals are from the empire, and they're basically, I want to say that, they are the rulers of the empire, and so they rule over pretty much the whole world with an iron fist, and it's up to Jessica's nation to kind of keep them at bay. And so there, but yeah, there are going to be more elementals. There are going to be more psychics in the future installments. So
okay, cool. Sounds like we have a bit of mystical versus technological going on as well.
Quite a bit of that, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, with the mystical side, is there like a spiritual aspect to it, or is it just pulling from myths and legends?
It's more just I would say
nature kind of thing.
What's that?
More of like a force of nature that these entities are.
Yeah, more of a force of nature. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
It's just they're just born this way, you know. So.
And then obviously, because they have the power, they have the ability, they go forth, they do what they think is right, they take control of their region, their area, and it starts encroaching beyond that. And then that's where our heroine comes in to kind of even those odds out, I assume.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
And you got the mailing list up right now. So anybody who wants to be hopping onto this, be sure to hop onto the mailing list. As we all know, there's a 1-2 punch combo that really helps out with all these projects. And one of those 1-2 punches is the mailing list. The other one is getting on to every single show that you can. A lot of people out there don't really take into consideration as to how important these mailing lists are. But down the road, for every project that you do, the more people that you have on that mailing list just means that there's more people that are able to be contacted when you have the next project going or something new in development. So anybody who's out there, I cannot underscore how important it is to have a continual mailing list that you keep growing in any way that you can.
Yeah, I launched this mailing list back in November. It was a week before Thanksgiving, and so far I've got 67 people who've signed up for the mailing list. If I could just get like 3 more people to sign up, I can get to 70. I would be very happy.
With this, are you pushing this anywhere else, like anywhere on Facebook? Any other avenues that you've been able to angle the mailing list and the project to?
I've been pushing it a lot on Twitter, as has Bogdan. I know he's been posting a lot of work in progress pages through his Twitter page, and he has more Twitter followers than I do. So any attention we can get is definitely helpful.
Now, as much as everyone hates Facebook, I will say that there is a really, really big indie community on Facebook, and there's tons and tons of group that you can join. And for the most part, I've had no issue promoting my stuff on there, and everyone seems to be fine with it. You just have to take into effect that every time you post there, you might not get people, but the thing is just getting it in front of other people. Those people that live on Facebook, they live on Facebook. They don't live on Twitter. So
right,
yeah.
I
gotta go to the masses and kick their asses. Shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I definitely need to look through other avenues. But Facebook is just, as much as I despise it,
we all do.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's just like fuck, I gotta like even before like doing hopping on the stream here, I was just like, oh yeah, I still got to go to Facebook and post this there. Even just that little task, I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but like I said, it is a good way, even for your friends, your family, all that kind of stuff. And it's all really about just getting as many eyes on the project before it starts, collecting those emails and letting people know what you're doing before it launches. Because that's the kicker, man. If you get a nice good launch day, that can make or break. Because what is it? The first 72 hours will give you your guideline as to how much you're probably going to fund in total.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's I'm equal parts excited and also terrified.
Oh, yeah.
because it's just like oh man, I'm getting this book out and people are gonna get it, and then I'm like, oh, but what if it doesn't make, but what if I don't get any backers? It's like, oh no.
Well, no matter what happens, like on my first book, my whole thing was like, I just want to do it to see what happens.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I was actually crossing my fingers and being like, I really hope this doesn't blow up, because I don't want it to blow up for my first one and then have a logistic nightmare on my hand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you kind of want to keep it like, manageable. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully for my first project, it funded and got a little bit over, which was perfect. And now that I'm doing issue 2, I'm going to be able to roll into that a little bit harder, because I know what to expect. I know what I can do. I know how much time it'll take. So I got a better framework to work from, which is a lot better than being in that first position, which you're in. And you're just going, oh man, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will say if I hit 5 figures, I'll be happy. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Jason Black brings something up here. Mines is another good spot.
Yeah, I do have a Minds account, although I haven't been posting on there.
Since I've been on there, you remember when the internet was fun and the internet was cool?
Yes.
That's how Minds feels like. Like the shit storms haven't hit there yet. Like you can actually go in and be like, oh, this is just anime titties? And nobody's like, oh, yeah, with this. Like,
yeah.
Just comic books and people like creating stuff and nobody's flipping out. Oh, this is awesome. Jason Black brings up a very important part there. There are people on Minds, and there are people sharing a lot of stuff on there. And the fact that, like, whatever kind of cryptocurrency they have, like whatever tokens they're given, it gives you that little bit of a gameplay factor. So,
yeah, I definitely need to start posting on Minds. Yeah, like we've been saying, as many eyes as possible on the project.
Exactly. And especially with it coming up right around the corner now, how far into the project are you guys? Like,
so Bogdan is very, very close to finishing. He's we got 6 pages left, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I haven't made this announcement yet, but I guess I can make it now. The lettering is going to start early next week by the one and only Eric Weathers.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So the lettering is in excellent hands then.
Yes.
Yeah, lettering is the unsung hero in comic books, and if you don't do it right, it can make or break your book for sure.
Yeah, it's it's kind of hard for people to read a comic book if they can't see the letter, you can't actually read the words.
Yeah. It's and there's also like a special secret sauce when it comes to the lettering that I've noticed that some people don't pay attention to, and that is the placing and pacing of the letters. And Eric has his stuff dialed. Like he knows when to pull the writing apart, because sometimes the writer will give the brick of text, and sometimes the letter will just put the brick of text up, and it's like, no, you got to break that up. You got to space that across the page and make it work. Yeah.
It's there's another thing I've had to learn trying to write, because initially I was trying to write novels, and then But then
Right.
when I went to writing comic books, I'm like, okay, well, I need to use less words.
Yeah, it's a trick too, because like you can have your script could be finished, and then when you get it back and you actually see the letters, you might be like, oh, I can tighten this up more, or I can adjust this, you know.
Yeah.
For me, when I do my stuff, like I was talking with Kimasabi, I kind of write on the page. So I'll do my thumbnails because I give myself a rough guideline. I'll do my thumbnails, and then I'll write a very rough plot and dialogue in those thumbnails. And then when I come to the lettering, then I tighten everything up and make sure that it fits the characters and fits within the word structure of the panels and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I got the luxury of, you know, doing that. So,
Yeah. Lettering is a skill that I've actually considering learning.
it's handy, man. One of the guys I know, Ed Brisson, who writes for Marvel right now, he started his career as a letterer. I think he was doing like Japanese translations for years and years and years. But he started as a letterer and started hiring out his services as a letterer, and then became a writer. So he was able to, like, you know, cover both of those bases when he started doing personal projects. And when you have that just that little bit of extra control over stuff you're doing, it definitely leans into the power that you have of your own project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you know, like I said, it's a great skill to have, and you know.
Well, especially if you have ties with Eric, definitely pick his brain about things. Like, you know, just, you know, if you're looking to get into it, you have a great resource right there to start tapping into, and just, you know, pick his brain on it, see what he has to say about stuff. Because even though he's a busy man, I guarantee he can point you in the right direction for a couple of things.
Yeah, of course. If you don't mind, I'd like to show off the cover.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Bring that shit up.
Yeah, like everything else with this project, Bogdan did an incredible job on the cover, and the logos that were done were done by Nude Cybot. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Centennial Comics is that's my comic book publishing company that I started last summer, so that I can publish the book through it. Yeah.
Man, coming up with names for the company, like, I don't know how many iterations you've gone through, but I went through so many. Just sitting there like, does this sound cool? Does this work? Does this sound dumb?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I actually got really lucky because that Centennial Comics was available. Because it's just such a, it seems like a really common name, but I call it Centennial because I'm originally from Colorado, and Colorado's the Centennial State for people who don't know. So, and the mountains, Pikes Peak.
You got that, with the logo right there. That's awesome.
Yeah, and the Angels Awakening, like, I kind of wanted it to have like this, obviously, cool sci-fi, pseudo retro look to it, and I think Nude Sidebot nailed it perfectly, and especially love the winged part of it too.
Yeah, it's got a especially with the color scheme going on here, it has like I'd say like late 80s vibe going on. That's what I'm getting with it.
Yeah, and I love the color work on it too. Of course, Bogdan's colors are just top notch. So
yeah, very dope.
Yeah.
Now, with you coming up with this character and this story artwork, do you have any plans in the future beyond this, or is this kind of the main thing that you have on the go right now?
Well, right now I'm mainly focusing on this series. I do have other ideas for other stories and other series. I really want to do an anthology series that's kind of like Twilight Zone, Outer Limits sort of thing.
Okay.
And I would write, like, every now and then, but I would want to bring in other creative people to tell their own stories. So
yeah, the anthology thing, especially if you hook up with the right team doing it, it seems that you're able to like, you know, hit the nail on the head with it. But it always is a roll of the dice, it seems, because some people, you know, aren't really down with the anthology. I personally like certain ones, like horror anthologies. I think it works really good. It reminds me of like the old school, eerie, creepy stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I grew up with that stuff. So to me, that's kind of like going home when I get to, you know, read anything in that vein. And the dude's doing, what is it? Black House Manor. They're kind of doing something along those lines, not so much an anthology, but just in that vibe of creepy and eerie.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely like that kind of that, you know, like creepy, eerie, you know, feel to it. But also I kind of like with the, you know, especially with the Twilight Zone having like a twist at the end, you know, you know, like, oh, you know, like the famous Twilight Zone one with Burgess Meredith, where he's, you know, the last guy on Earth, and you know he's got time to read, and then he breaks his glasses, and
yeah. Or the other one is was it the plastic surgery one, and it's like, oh, she's hideous. Oh, she's you know, it's all the people.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, mainly I've been developing this series and just getting, you know, everything, you know, plotting out the future stories going forward. Because I will say, like, some of the ideas I have for this series, it's going to get a little darker. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And as we saw from Kimosabi that was promoting Company Men, there's no shortage of people that like the darker aspect when it comes to these types of stories and characters.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody likes it when the heroes or the protagonists get badass.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to happen. I can promise that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. With let's see, I got time coming up here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bail out. I got some phone call stuff that I got to do. I got some unfortunate business stuff that just rolled up. Is there anything else that you want to say or talk about before we head out here? Anything else you want to plug? Point people in certain directions? Other shows that you're going to be on?
So if you want to find me, the best place is on Twitter. I'm at Daniel_Parker63. You can also find on there. You can find the links to my my Instagram page as well as my YouTube channel. I'm gonna try to start putting more videos on my YouTube channel going forward, and I'm gonna try to do some streams on my channel as well. And you know, I kind of want to do like a weekly live stream on there. So
yeah, it's a good idea. Just like it, you know. All the big guys, everyone, you know, just start your own platform, bring people on there, you know, do anything you can that you can bring people to the show. That's one of the reasons why I started this, is because, you know, not all of us can make it to the big leagues. So I'm just like, hey, let me help out where I can. And always super thankful for everybody that can pop on when they can. So super glad I'm able to get you back on after you had to reschedule to the unfortunate weather that you've been experiencing there.
Yeah, I appreciate you working with me on that. I mean, yeah, I know it's, you know, obviously it was unforeseen, but you know, yeah, I'm just very happy to be here. Yeah.
And just a quick shout out to everybody out there who might be seeing this in the future. If you want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on all my social media. I'm the Ryan Cardinal on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, literally everywhere you can find the Ryan Cardinal. And if you want to end up on the show, my times that I'm slotting for are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from noon till 2. So I have open slots, and if you can get a hold of me before the weekend, that way I can start putting together promo stuff and lead up into the interviews. Last little bit of shilling for myself here before we head out. Caius, A Story of Blood and Stone issue 1 and 2 is available right now to sign up on the mailing list. If you sign up, you will be signing up for a secret tier that will only be available to those who sign up to the mailing list, and you will be able to get issue 1 and 2 of that secret tier. And I'm looking to be shooting for probably around the end of May for launching. I'm just working on the animation right now for the trailer, which is taking forever because I'm an idiot and I'm doing full-blown frame-by-frame animation for the trailer because I'm dumb. But it'll look cool. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you, Daniel, for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
No problem. And everybody go sign up for Angels Awakening, which you can go to on Indiegogo. And also go back The Company Men by our man Kimosabe. Literally just a couple backers away from hitting his first 100 there. And yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you, everybody, for coming by, hanging out in the chat. Feel free to share this out to everybody that you can. And I will talk to all of you in the near and dear future. Peace.